asshole. Hey y'all, it's the lovable loser. Well, lovable is debatable. Back with a new segment. Now this is essentially a story time segment. You know, people have done this on YouTube before. You just get in front of a camera and you tell stories about your life. However, my stories are gonna be, not exactly my proudest moments. Yeah, these stories are pretty cringe-worthy. There's gonna be another major difference between this and most other story time YouTube segments, though. Before each episode, I'm gonna flip a coin. If the coin lands on heads, I tell you a true story, something that legitimately happened to me and haunts me to this very day. It lands on tails, though. Everything I tell you is a lie. Alright, guys ready? Let's do this. Interesting. Alright, so my first tale of woe centers around what else? The first time I ever tried to ask out a girl. It was a pretty awkward experience. It was a dark and stormy night. Actually, no it wasn't. It was actually it was actually a pretty nice day as far as I can remember. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, the kids were kidding, and it was just an all-around splendid day. Now these events took place a while ago. I was, I think, 14 when this happened. So I was just, you know, going through my life, just being a stupid teenager. But there was something happening at that time. I had a crush. Now I'm sure everyone's gonna be all like,
"Oh, teenagers have crushes all the time."
And I'm also sure if you've seen any of my previous videos, you're right now going, every loser has an origin story. So, I had kind of an insane crush on this one girl. Like, painfully intense. And at the time I was only 14 years old, so I had no idea what to do with these raging emotions inside of me. I was all like, which translated into English sounds kind of like,
I have intense feelings for this one young lady, but I don't quite know how to express them appropriately.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can see where this is going.
No, it's not going there, you filthy pervert! Get your mind out of the gutter!
But anyway, yeah, I was hardcore crushing on this one girl. She was like the popular girl, you know? She had it all. You know, looks, charm. She's actually super nice too. So, you know, it was a bright, late spring day near the end of the school year. I was walking into school. Actually, no, I wasn't. I walked into school that morning. I remember this quite clearly. Saw her standing there. And you know, I'd been crushing on this girl for like months and months and months and months and months. And hadn't had the courage to do anything about it. It was always just, oh man, she's so beautiful. But, I can't say anything. Or she'll turn me down. And that would be
The end of my life as I know it.
So yeah, I didn't do anything. I was also, you know, scared of public ridicule. Because, you know, when you're 14, your peers are not exactly the nicest people. You know, they'd be like, oh, rejected! And I didn't want that. I knew if that happened, I would live in a cycle of social shame for the rest of my high school years. So I didn't ask her out. I just sat there in the corner like a pathetic loser, just going, no, please, but I must. We must. Oh, we can't, but we must. That went on for a while until, man, I was pitied. Until the one day. One morning I decided, you know, I had to do something. You know, I had to step out if I wanted to know for sure. There was no way to read the situation. I've spent all these months trying to read the situation, you know, trying to read her mind, like, do you have a crush on me? Or, you know, trying to read body signals, or, you know, just trying trying to keep track of how much she talks to me versus how much she talks to other guys. She's talking to Billy again! She totally has the hots for him. Why's the athletic, confident one to get the girl? And then, you know, when she so much as looked at me, it was like, she loves me. Gone through that for months and months, so I was like, enough of this crap. Let's just find out for sure. It didn't go too well. So I spent the whole morning sitting through, like, what classes did I even have? I don't even remember. Just sitting through classes, just shaking, just like trying to prepare myself. I don't even remember, you know, one of my teachers during one of my classes was like, Eric, are you all right back there? I was like, yeah, just a little cold, shivering, you know, kind of cold in this room. Like mid-May when it's like 15 degrees outside. Or like, I don't know, 70 for you Americans. I don't know how the imperial system works. Then came lunchtime. And that's when it happened. One of my greatest moments of shame. So I see the girl that I've been crushing on for who knows how long. And then oh shoot, there's a thread coming out of my sleeve. I see her, and I freeze for a moment. And then inside my brain there's this monologue like,
It's okay, Eric. You can do this. You can do this. All you gotta do is ask this girl just one simple question. You can do this. You can... Oh, who am I kidding? You can't do this. You can't do this!
I swear to you, I probably spaced out for like 2 whole minutes. So anyway, this girl, you know, she notices I've been, you know, creepily staring at her. And she just sits there and just kind of glances at me like, well, you know, still just talking to her friends and stuff. Anyway, I went up to that table, you know? And, you know, she was just sitting there, trying her best not to notice me, but I decided I was gonna push through with this. So I walk up to the table, have all these eyes just staring at me. Her and her, like, 5 friends all just stop dead. And they just stare at me like, your move. What are you going to do next? Choose your words carefully or there'll be endless ridicule and pain for you. So I walk up to there and I open my mouth and I'm about to speak. And you know what I say? Hey, look, long after that happened, this one dude who's like, me and him never really got along, he comes up right behind me and her because he and her were kind of a thing for a while, sadly. But anyway, he comes up behind us and he's like,
Hey Eric, what you doing?
and I'm sitting here now with the girl of my dreams on one side, and then this dude who, I didn't know it at the time, but who had dated her for a bit on the other side of me. And I'm just sitting there like, what the hell am I supposed to do now? So then, you know, I'm standing there just dying of embarrassment. All her friends are looking at me. He's looking at me. She's looking at me. And it just it just pops out. The question just pops out. Just pops out of my mouth. Just, you wanna go with me? You wanna go with me? And I said it pretty much exactly like that. You wanna go with me? You wanna go with me? Everyone at the table bursts out laughing. They're just like, what did this guy just say? They didn't even know. Half of it was they didn't even know what I just said because I hadn't asked her out. I just gone, you wanna go with me? So I swallow hard because I gotta see this thing through, right? No matter what happens, you know, I've already been embarrassed. I'm already gonna be hearing about this for months. Especially, you know, once the story starts spreading, because I went to a small high school, and that has its advantages, but one of the biggest disadvantages of going to a smaller high school, people never forget. So, I already knew I was gonna hear about this for a while, but I had to see it through. I try again. What do I end up saying this time? Wanna go out with me, Alicia? Wanna know the worst part about this? Alicia was not the girl. Alicia was a different girl who was sitting there. I had called my crush by her friend's name. I didn't think this could get any worse, honestly. In my mind, that thought popped in my head right then as my crush looked at me. And I thought that was the worst part. Nope. Because the next moment, right behind me, I hear a deep voice say, "Real smooth, Eric. Real smooth." I turn around, and it's the principal. Yeah! The principal! At that moment, I wanted to die of shame. Oh, maybe not die, maybe that's a bit strong. I wanted to evaporate and become one with the atmosphere. I wanted to be a cloud in that moment. But no, I couldn't. I couldn't become a cloud because I'm not a freaking superhero. So my only choice was to just sit there, red-faced, while everyone else laughed at me, including the principal. I wish I could tell you that that was all. A few moments later, after all that had gone down, I farted.
I am the most unfortunate person.
Okay, maybe I'm not the most unfortunate person on earth, but you gotta admit, that story, pretty bad. Alright, I think that's gonna do it for this first episode of, I forgot what the show is called. The Cringe Files.
I dare you to hit the subscribe button.
Also, I need a comment war. This is the 4th video I've made, and I've had 0 wars in the comments. I've had no debates in the comment section yet, and I'm quite honestly disgusted. Isn't that like a requirement of YouTube? I'll give you some material for the first one right now. Was this story true, or was it a lie? You guys can debate that in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Here's a picture of my painfully average face.